Prince William and Prince Harry know Elton John has answers. About their mother, about what really happened. But there's one question they've deliberately avoided, for 27 years. Because asking it means facing the truth, and the truth is something they're not ready to hear. This is the question Diana's sons won't ask, and why Elton hopes they never do. 2024. Elton John is 77 years old. He's answered hundreds of questions about Princess Diana over the years, from journalists, from biographers, from fans, and from William and Harry themselves. They've asked him about their mother's personality, her fears, her dreams, what she was like when cameras weren't around. And Elton has answered every question, honestly, lovingly, carefully. But there's one question they've never asked, the most important question, the question that would change everything. And Elton knows exactly why they haven't asked it. Because they're afraid. Afraid of what the answer might be. Afraid of what it would mean for everything they've believed for 27 years. The question is simple, terrifying, and it haunts Elton every single day. Do you think someone wanted our mother dead? That's it. 6 words. But those 6 words could shatter the carefully constructed narrative William and Harry have built their lives around. The official story, the comforting story, that Diana died in a tragic accident. A drunk driver, overzealous paparazzi, wrong place, wrong time. An accident. But Elton knows things. Things Diana told him, things he's never shared publicly. Things that make that simple narrative feel incomplete. And William and Harry know he knows. They're not stupid. They've read the conspiracy theories, heard the whispers, seen the documentaries questioning the official story, and they know that if anyone has real information, it's Elton, Diana's closest friend, her confidant, the person she trusted with her deepest fears. So why haven't they asked? Why haven't William and Harry looked Elton in the eye and said, "Tell us the truth. Do you think someone wanted our mother dead?" Because they're terrified of the answer. Let's understand what's at stake. William and Harry have spent 27 years mourning their mother, processing her death, building their lives on the foundation of that loss. For William, it means accepting his role in the institution, the palace, the crown, the same system Diana fought against. William has made peace with it, found his place in it, honored his mother while also serving the monarchy. For Harry, it means something different. It means rage at the paparazzi, at the media, at the relentless intrusion that chased his mother to her death. Harry has built his entire adult identity around protecting his family from what killed Diana. It's why he left the royal family, why he moved to America, why he fights so hard against the press. Both brothers have found ways to live with their mother's death, ways to make sense of it, ways to honor her memory, while moving forward with their lives. But if they ask Elton that question, and if his answer is anything other than no, everything changes. Everything. If Elton says yes, or even maybe, or I don't know, but Diana believed so, then William and Harry have to confront a much darker possibility, that their mother's death wasn't an accident, that someone in the establishment, in the palace, in the family, wanted her silenced, wanted her gone, and succeeded. For William, that means questioning everything, his role, his family, his future as king. How can he serve an institution that might have killed his mother? How can he represent a crown that might have ordered her death? For Harry, it means something even more devastating. It means he's been fighting the wrong enemy. He's spent decades hating the paparazzi, blaming the media, but what if they were just convenient scapegoats? What if the real threat was much closer to home? What if the people who killed his mother are the same people William still serves? That's why they don't ask. Because knowing would force them to choose between each other, between truth and family, between justice and peace. And Elton understands this. He's thought about it for 27 years. Every time he sees William or Harry, he wonders, will they ask today? Are they ready? And every time they don't, Elton feels both relief and sadness. Relief because he doesn't want to be the one to destroy their world. Sadness because they deserve the truth. So what would Elton say if they asked? What does he actually know? Elton knows that Diana was genuinely afraid in her final years. Not just paranoid, not just stressed, genuinely, rationally afraid. Diana told Elton multiple times that she felt watched, followed, threatened. She'd describe specific incidents, cars that seemed to tail her, people who appeared in multiple locations, phone calls that clicked and buzzed. Diana believed there were people in the palace, in the establishment, who saw her as a problem that needed to be dealt with, and she documented these fears meticulously. Elton knows that Diana wrote letters expressing these fears. Not just one letter, multiple letters. Letters to her butler, Paul Burrell. Letters to her lawyer, Lord Mishcon. Letters to Elton himself. Letters that explicitly stated, "If something happens to me, it won't be an accident." Diana was methodical about creating a paper trail, about making sure someone would know if something happened. That alone tells Elton she wasn't just paranoid. She was genuinely preparing for the possibility of her own death. Elton knows that Diana believed Charles wanted her out of the way, not necessarily dead, but gone, silenced, removed from public life so he could marry Camilla without the complication of a bitter, outspoken ex-wife who still commanded enormous public support. Diana told Elton about conversations she'd overheard, meetings where her name came up, plans being discussed about the Diana problem. She never had recordings, never had proof, but she had instincts, and her instincts were screaming danger. Elton knows that Diana had information about Charles, about the royal family, about things that happened behind palace walls, information about Charles and Camilla's affair continuing throughout the marriage, information about financial improprieties, information about the way the palace manipulated public opinion, information that could have damaged the monarchy irreparably, embarrassed powerful people, changed public opinion forever. Diana wasn't just a victim, she was a threat, a woman who knew too much and wasn't afraid to speak. And Elton knows that Diana died under circumstances that have never been fully explained. In a tunnel with no working security cameras at the exact moment of the crash. With a driver, Henri Paul, who was supposedly drunk but whose blood alcohol levels were questioned by multiple experts. With paparazzi who were blamed but whose role was never entirely clear. With a white Fiat Uno that clipped Diana's car but was never found. With investigations that found no evidence of foul play, but also never satisfactorily explained all the inconsistencies. With witnesses who reported seeing flashing lights in the tunnel. With emergency response times that seemed deliberately slow. With so many unanswered questions that even the official investigators admitted their findings were incomplete. Does Elton think someone wanted Diana dead? He's never said publicly. Because saying yes makes him a conspiracy theorist, and saying no feels like a betrayal of Diana's fears. But if William and Harry asked him directly, face to face, sons asking about their mother, Elton would have to answer honestly. And his honest answer would be, "I don't know, but your mother believed someone did, and I've never been able to prove her wrong." That's the answer William and Harry are afraid of. Not, "Yes, she was murdered." Not, "No, it was definitely an accident." But the terrible uncertainty. The maybe. The I don't know. Because that uncertainty would haunt them forever, would force them to question everything, would give them no peace. And Elton sees this, understands this, which is why, in a strange way, he hopes they never ask. Because he loves those boys, watched them grow up, comforted them at their mother's funeral, celebrated their weddings, held their children, and he doesn't want to be the person who destroys their ability to move forward. But there's another part of Elton, a smaller, quieter part, that wishes they would ask. Because Diana deserves that, deserves her sons demanding the truth, deserves William and Harry being brave enough to face the darkest possibilities, deserves justice, even if it's just the justice of acknowledgement. In recent years, Harry has come closer to asking. Since leaving the royal family, since speaking out about the institution, Harry has had conversations with Elton that dance around the question. Do you think the palace was threatened by her? Do you think they wanted her gone? But never the direct question. Never, do you think someone wanted her dead? William has gone the opposite direction. He's become more protective of the narrative, more defensive of the institution, more committed to the official story, not because he believes it necessarily, but because questioning it would unravel his entire life. And Elton watches both of them, loves both of them, and carries the weight of what he knows, what Diana told him, what he's promised to never reveal unless asked directly. 2024, 27 years after Diana's death. Elton sits in his home in Windsor. His phone rings occasionally. Sometimes it's David. Sometimes it's his sons. Sometimes it's William or Harry. And every time he sees their names on his phone, Elton wonders, is this it? Is this when they ask? But they never do. And Elton answers their calls. Talks about other things, their families, their work, their memories of Diana. Everything except the one thing that matters most. Because there's an unspoken agreement between them. Elton will answer any question they ask, but he won't volunteer the information, won't burden them with knowledge they haven't requested, won't force them to confront truths they're not ready to face. And William and Harry will ask about their mother. Remember her. Honor her. But never ask the question that might change everything. Never force Elton to tell them what Diana really believed, what she really feared, what really might have happened. It's a strange sort of protection, each protecting the other. Elton protecting William and Harry from painful knowledge, William and Harry protecting themselves from devastating truth, all of them protecting Diana's memory from being consumed by conspiracy and controversy. But the question remains, unasked, unanswered, hanging between them like a ghost. The question that William and Harry are too afraid to ask. The answer that Elton is both desperate and reluctant to give. Do you think someone wanted our mother dead? 6 words, 27 years, and a truth that might never be spoken, because sometimes not knowing is easier than knowing. Sometimes uncertainty is more bearable than certainty. Sometimes the question itself is too dangerous to ask. This is the question Diana's sons won't ask Elton John, and why, perhaps, they never should.